It's not every day I have a two-time Grammy nominee on According to Amabile. Now, who the heck is Linda Chorney? Well, I could tell you, she's my friend, and she's a very talented indie artist, and we all owe her a debt of gratitude, especially those that are going for Grammy nominations. And I'm just very excited to welcome Linda Chorney to According to Amabile. Linda, so great to see you.
Nice to see you too. It's been since the Count Basie Theater, I think, or the Stone Pony,
Oh,
something
Light of
like
Day.
that.
That's right. Yep. It was when you played Light of Day, about the time that you had your nomination for Bored.
Oh, that's right.
That's
You
right.
know that
That's
song.
right. I'm bored out of my mind. What a great song that is. And you have chronicled your entire journey in a book called It Ain't Over Till the Indie Sings. It's an audio book. You could hear Linda reading it in only the way that Linda can. And sometimes I think, oh, there it is. There's the book.
I
It ain't
just
over.
happen to have it here.
It ain't over till the indie sings. And the audiobook is just as entertaining as the read. It's perfect for when you're taking an airline flight like I did. And you can't put it down, and it's just your entire journey. And I'm just so happy to talk about this. And it perfectly captures so much grit and, of course, your personality. So, what inspired you to write it, and how did the storytelling process compare to writing your music?
Well, my songs are actually mini stories. You know, each one is obviously autobiographical, unlike uh, Springsteen writes about a lot about the man. We were talking about Springsteen before we went online here,
Always.
and he's always talking about the working man and this and that. I talk about me. I talk about my relationships, who who broke my heart, who did not break my heart, and things that piss me off in the world. It's always firsthand in my lyrics. So the book is basically a giant 17-hour song of my life.
That's a great way to describe it. And it starts from the beginning. Actually, what I love is it takes you. This is something people don't think about when performers are on stage, like everything that's going through your mind. You call it like a backstage sneak peek into your brain while you're on stage. Like, is that woman ever going to stop texting? It's like, why are you making a daiquiri now during my ballad? Like, what? And you know what? I'm sure this happens to every performer on stage, and anybody reading this book is going to appreciate your sharing.
I'm pretty sure that 99% of musicians who actually played in bars and made a living doing it and are making a living that way will relate to 99% of it for sure, up until the first Grammy nomination. So it is a therapy session with some giggles, but I don't think it's just for musicians. And I'll give you an example.
Sure.
Well, the book was just released, the audiobook, uh, and it took me 3 years to record because I wanted to make sure it didn't sound like I was reading you a book. I wanted to tell you what, like I'm having a conversation with you when I'm talking. So everything had to be perfect. So it took a really long time. But anyway, it just got released on December 20th on Apple Music and Spotify. Not Apple Music, Apple Books and Spotify Books. And I got two letters the same day. One from a musician who said, Linda, I listen to your book jogging every morning, and I'm laughing my butt off. And people look at me like I'm crazy because I'm, I'm running around laughing. Same day from a non musician. She's a FedEx executive. And she says, Linda, I listen to your book when I'm driving to work. And when I get to the parking lot, I want to finish the chapter. And I'm sitting in my car laughing, and people think I'm nuts. So that's the response I'm getting. No matter what industry you are in, I think a lot of it is relatable, even if you're not a musician.
Well, you take us through every part of your journey, even like personal journey, and I mean, you really get into the nitty gritty about like handing out CDs to strangers. I mean, it's really detailed.
Oh,
I can't
I
believe
don't
you
hand them
remember
out.
all this.
I don't
Like,
hand them out. I sell them.
you sell them. You know what
I
I
don't,
mean? Like,
yeah, I don't give my, yeah. But I actually, my entire life while CDs existed, I think of everything in term of CDs. Like if I'm going out for dinner and I'm like, oh, if I order that glass of wine, that's like selling a CD. And they don't even freaking pour you a full glass of wine. It's like a quarter of a glass. It's like, where's my meniscus? Back in our day, glasses of wine weren't this high. They gave you a decent pour. So
Now it's
anyway,
like $18 for like a sip.
yeah, no, it's ridiculous. So there's a lot of ranting in the book. Like I'm a bit like Larry David, kind of annoying, but I can sing. And I guess that's it.
And yes, you do, which is why you had the film When I Sing. But back to the book. What was the hardest part of revisiting this musical journey? Was it remembering everything as it happened, or just like reliving
No,
some of the harder moments?
there are some really harder moments that I don't like, especially in the editing process.
Mm,
Reading it once because I wrote the book um, in 22 and I have to revisit when my mom's dying from cancer,
right.
a couple of painful moments, even during the nominations and the bullying, like so I was like, oh, do I have to talk about this again? But it was like giving birth, and now I've got this beautiful baby.
Well, there's a mix of humor and raw honesty in the book's voice, specifically your voice. So, how'd you find the balance between being entertaining and deeply personal? I was curious about that. You go into different voices when you're reading, which is why I think you should try acting. But
Oh well, I kind of acted in my movie, but I don't know how
you know what
good
I
I
mean.
was. Yeah, no. I have, as you know, a character in my book is voice in my head.
Right.
So when I'm doing the show, like I said, I'm having a dialogue in my head when a show's going on. I'm having a dialogue in my head when I'm reading the book. So I hear myself as Dangerfield, or I hear myself as Groucho Marx when I say something, like I'm very self-critical. So sometimes these voices that come out, I'm making fun of myself because sometimes I sound like a jerk.
And sometimes you sound like your old publicist. You're not
Oh my
Madonna.
God, you're no Madonna. Now stop being a prima donna. Yeah, she talks like that. Yeah. I had fun. I had a really good time making this book. Like I just cracked myself up.
Well,
And
you cracked me up when you were talking about, you know what? It's funny. This is funny. Here's a relatable from the book. You're going to do a print interview and you have to get your makeup done. You thought that they were going to have glam there, and they were like, no, there's no glam. And then you run into was it a makeup
Macy's.
Macy's, the makeup counter to get it done. I
Yeah.
did this before a wedding to have somebody do my makeup, so I know that 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 pressure to look well, and you don't know how to do your own makeup, and you want to look good because you know you're going to have a good photographer. And so what do? You go to the makeup counter, and then you have to buy something, and then you're going up the escalator and you drop it, and it ricochets and nearly impales your eye that you just
That's right.
spent all that
All
time to get.
true.
That is the craziest story I ever heard.
Yeah, and also I will say you are correct though. I gave that's where I gave CDs away. I'm like, "Oh, thanks for doing my makeup.
That's right.
Here's my CD." That would be the only time. It's kind of like when it's a barter. I used to barter my music for everything. But yeah, I went into Macy's. This woman never told me I had to be ready. I was 51 then. Isn't it incredible how the older we get, we look back when we were like 5 years younger and you're self-critical at a certain age, and then you look back at those photos and you're like, I looked pretty good at that age. Why did I think I looked bad? And it's constantly like that. But yes, I got the makeup done. I bought like a $30 eye pencil, and then I was going up the stairs because I had to get my chicken cutlets.
Yeah, for
Chicken my boobs,
your
my fake
boobs.
boobs. I never heard about those before. Yeah, and then I started singing "Find the Cost of Boobies." So that's in the book, it's like I'm really sharing what's going on in my mind and trying to stay on the storyline, on the plot at the same time. So it was a balance, and thank God I had three different editors to pull back the reins a couple of times.
Well, it ain't over till the indie sings. What a great title that is. What does that mean to you personally and professionally?
Well,
Well,
obviously it's the
till
play on it ain't over till the fat lady
fat lady
sings.
sings. You're not fat. You're the
Yeah,
skinniest person I've ever met.
not anymore. And by the way, I just want to share this for the audience. I'm dressed up. This to me is dressed up, but you know what I'm wearing? I'm wearing my doggy pajama bottoms.
Love it.
You're welcome. Um, what was the question?
It ain't over till the indie sings. So it's a play on it over until the fat lady sings. But
Yeah, it's because I was outspoken in this book. You know, I was the David versus Goliath, and I was up against the machine
the Grammy
constantly.
machine.
Not necessarily the Grammy machine. At first, it was the Americana Association. They were the bad guys in my first nomination. And, but to the credit, I don't want to give away the plot,
Exactly.
but I will say that eventually, the first time, the president of NARIS and vice president, Bill Freemuth and Neil Portnow, they did the right thing. When I got nominated and nobody heard of me, they honored my nomination. The second time around, they eventually did the right thing. So it's just the constant battle of defending oneself as an independent artist without the backing of a label. And I want to talk directly to independent artists out there right now that just because you haven't made it, and you might not make it because the odds are that you don't, doesn't mean that you're not great. The odds of you actually making it are astoundingly bad. And it's a crapshoot. And some people get luckier than others. Some people who get Grammy wins and sell millions of albums, you're better than they are. And then there are some who are outstanding. It's a whole mix. But I was challenged, but they did not know they were messing with.
They were playing with the wrong indie artist.
Yeah, you never mess with a masshole. I'm from Massachusetts. So, you know, we don't take any, you know what. I'm being clean, which I am not in the book.
Well, no, but the thing about your second nomination, which was crazy, is when they put the original list out, you were listed. You were on the list, and then you weren't, and it was like, well, what happened there? And then you went through this whole process, and I love how you were talking about how you were on the line with a reporter from the New York Times, then Harvey Mason was calling on the other line.
Phone face
Wow,
off. That
aren't
was that was pretty cool. But to
wow,
be clear, well, it's in the book, so I
right?
don't want to give it away for people who are listening, but I really had to fight to get back my nomination. And, you know, you have to give credit. I have to give credit. You don't have to do anything. But I give credit to Harvey Mason Jr. for doing the right thing. Uh, when we are living in a society, sorry to get so deep, but it's true. We are living in a world right now where facts don't matter, where people get trampled on all the time if you're not part of the machine. And they do whatever the hell they want. They disregard the law. They crap on everything and do whatever they want, steamroller over the little guy.
But
He could
Harvey
have.
could have, but he called you directly. I mean, he called you,
That's right.
you know,
He did the right thing. I know we're just talking about music here and not somebody's life, but it is my living.
it is.
Yeah, but he eventually did the right thing, but it's been a constant fight. Like I think I have one of the lines in my book is, why can't I just have a normal nomination? You know, why can't I just sit back and enjoy it? Why does it always have to be a battle? One
For,
battle after another.
Probably because it needs to happen with somebody like you so there can be change. Like your Grammy nominations were historic and it changed a lot with the nominating committees and
Correct.
it changed
Yeah.
a lot. It probably I really believe that sometimes things have to happen so change can come.
Yeah, I was the one I was most flattered about. Well, there were two things. Number one, I was so flattered when Variety reached out to me and asked me to write my own op-ed on the Grammy rule change because when I was nominated the first time, as a result of that democratic process, they changed the rules so an indie couldn't get in again. 10 years later, when Harvey Mason Jr. took over, they got rid of the committees that basically blocked the indies, certainly in Americana. So Variety asked me to write an op-ed, but also after the second nomination on New Year's Eve, I'll never forget it. The Wall Street Journal came out with the five biggest blunders of 2021. And the first one was Elon Musk calling Elizabeth Warren Karen. The second one was how Sex and the City used a Peloton for Big
Right.
to die on.
Yeah.
The third one was some CEO firing everybody over Zoom. And the fourth one was some other thing. And the fifth one, coming in fifth, the Recording Academy dissing Linda Chorney. I mean,
Wow.
and that was the blunder. And I came out as the good guy, and I was like, they said like, how else is an indie supposed to promote themselves? They have to self promote. They don't have anybody else to. Labels have big parties and they have huge budgets. The only thing we can do is word of mouth and get it out there. So I was blown away by that. But yeah, the bottom line is yes, they changed the rules because of me, and then lo and behold, later they got rid of him, and I got the other nomination.
Exactly. But you've been an independent artist for decades. You've seen the industry change. And this is, I believe that you're a part of it, like changing things for
Uh,
independent artists. You're a part of it.
well, I'm very happy that more independent artists are getting an ear from the Recording Academy, and but getting a Grammy or a nomination doesn't change your life that much. Really. It's not like a huge deal. The bottom line is it all comes down to can you make a living? You want to be able to do your art and eat.
And that's basically what it comes down to.
Just like
So,
you, what you do.
exactly.
And
Well,
everything's what you're talking about changing, everything changing. We went from being able to sell I'll start with CDs. I won't go back to cassettes. You could sell your CD at a show for 20 bucks, 15, 20 bucks. The manufacturing cost on that is about $2 to $3. Then all of a sudden there was downloads. So your album went from selling from 20 bucks to selling to 9.99, and you got 7.99 out of that. You got like 80%. Then we have streaming. Streaming, you have to sell millions and millions in order to make anything near the money you used to make just simply by selling your CD. So that's what I've seen most change in the industry.
well, how do you figure like with your book? First of all, emotional jukebox. That's such a great title because that's just so you. But how did you navigate the criticism and the industry skepticism with both your nominations? Because you
As
took a lot.
yeah, as my former publicist would say, after I tell you that I think my music was worthy, don't be defensive.
Oh
Remember
my
she
God, it's so funny how you do her voice. It's like you just go in and out of it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun doing that. But yeah, I've always believed in my music. I ignored that part. I know I'm good. First of all, anybody who pursues a career in music and doesn't believe in themselves shouldn't be in it.
Well, you touched on this in your book that you kind of need
Yes,
an
I did.
ego. Yeah, that you need to believe in it, or what's the point?
Exactly. And it's not really an ego, it's matter of factual. It's like I can either sing or I can't sing, you know? So, but, I could be delusional.
Well, you're not. Now, your husband Scott, he was the one that encouraged you to submit the second time.
He
How
forced me
he forced
both.
you into it
No, no, no. The first time he
the first
forced
time.
me.
How
Yeah.
about the
Second
second
time,
time?
no. No, the
Okay.
second time it was me, Trevor Sewell, and EJ Willette. By the way, in the new book, the audio book, I feature about 10 independent artists that I feel should be famous who aren't. One of them is actually from the Jersey Shore, Arlen Files. I mean, he was signed, and that the record got shelved. So I don't just like talk the talk. I feature some independent artists because they're that good.
Well, and I'm sure people appreciate the fact that you want to shine a spotlight on people you feel are worthy and use your platform to help
Yeah.
advance other artists, which not a lot of people do, Linda. So, hey, was there a moment in your career that you still laugh out loud about right now? I'm sure there's got to
Hmm.
be a few, like on stage moments or.
Yeah, actually, I'll share one. I think it's in the book. I can't remember. Uh, I was doing a gig at the Back Fence on Bleecker Street in New York City, and this was a place where you played till 3 in the morning. You checkerboarded with another act. You'd go on for an hour. They go on. I'm going to do that again because I heard a. Did you hear that noise? The ding noise?
No, I did not
Oh,
hear that.
okay. Anyway, at the Back Fence, you go on for an hour. The other act goes on for an hour. You go on the other one. So it's the late shift. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm on stage. It's like six people in the audience. Most of them are just completely hammered. And I just I decided to fart in the mic. As a result, these two guys in the audience, tears streaming down their face laughing, were in town doing Sting's music video. And they thought that, first of all, they liked my music, but they thought it was funny. We all went out till the sun came up afterwards. And I ended up scoring a gig in London. They introduced me to Cat Stevens' old manager. I actually played on the piano he wrote Moonshadow on, all from farting in a mic. That's pretty
See,
funny.
you just never know where something like that is going to take you.
And so that's a
It's like a
message to you
rocket ship.
all. Yeah, quite,
So,
yes.
so as an indie artist, do you have any practical advice for independent musicians? People
Oh
like
boy. Uh,
people attempting to go their own way, so to speak.
it's hard. It's harder now to make a living doing it because of merch, but you can still play out in clubs. I mean, but the weird thing is, here's my advice for people who don't do it for a living and go out and play clubs at night. Don't play for free because what you're doing is undercutting the rest of us who do it for a living and expect that paycheck. Because if a club owner can get you to play for free, why should I pay this other guy? Even if the other guy's better, he's just selling drinks. It's not that important how good you are. So, uh, I, if you see somebody playing for free, beat them up. I'm kidding. I'm
Well,
not violent. Cut their vocal cords.
that's funny.
Take
Linda,
away their instrument, smash the guitar over their head. Yeah, do that.
God, that's a story. You're funny as anything. Yeah, So okay, so we've had two Grammy nominations. You're going to go for a third. What are we looking at in the future? You had the best epilogue ever in the book, where you kind of go into the old lady voice, which is hysterical.
Uh, yes, I am going to submit It Ain't Over Till the Indie Sings into next year's Grammy Awards for Best Narration. So it should be interesting because if they flagged me, God, I hate giving away this stuff, but if anybody just Google searches me, they'll find this part out anyway. But they allegedly they flagged me because I have a book and a movie about the Grammys. They said,
Right.
well, you're talking about the Grammys. I'm like, so
I know
what?
you talk about a lot more in that movie than just the Grammys.
Exactly. No, but that's the point. Is somebody, I'm not going to say what happened, but I will say that if I was flagged for that, this book's going to get me arrested. So the audiobook, especially because of what of my improv. So the audiobook has stuff that's not in the printed book. A lot more stuff. My voice in my head comes out way more often, and of course, there's music. And the epilogue is not in the other book, you know. So I end up on a cruise ship in my 80s, and just goes from there. That's all I'm going to say. I was
Excellent.
thinking of actually doing an entire series as that woman on
That
the
might
cruise ship.
work.
I know, I'm serious. Like, hey, today I met this 70-year-old guy. I was robbing the cradle. He bought me a
Independent,
couple of highballs.
independent cougar on a cruise ship.
That's right. We went to the buffet together. I'm just, I just, that voice, I don't know. I just got it. It just came out of nowhere. But
Linda Chorney. It ain't over till the indie sings. You know, I'm going to submit this podcast for a Golden Globe next year. I'm putting you on notice, Amy Poehler.
nice. You should, you adorable little creature, according to everyone, you're adorable.
Oh, thank you.
Not just Michelle.
Thank you, Linda Chorney, for joining us on According to Amabile. Tell everybody where you can get this book.
Okay. First of all, you can get When I Sing on Amazon, the movie, which won a ton of awards. And secondly, it ain't over till the indie sings is available. If you have an iPhone, it's on Apple Books. You don't need a subscription. You just buy the book on your Apple phone. The app is right there, and and you can listen to it on your iPhone. If you have an Android, then you can get it on Spotify and download it from there.
Excellent. Linda Chorney, thank you so much for joining According to Amabile. Of course, if you like what you're seeing, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, whatever you do across YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Thank you for tuning into According to Amabile. Thank you, Linda Chorney. Of course, you know, the Grammys coming up, you know, I'm sure you'll be watching.
Yeah, I'm going actually.
You're going to the Grammys. What are you going
Yeah.
to wear? I knew it. And she's going to get her makeup done at the Macy's counter. I'm kidding.
Oh, definitely. No, it probably will.
You're rooting for anybody to get a nomination?
I'm rooting. I'm rooting for Bill Burr in comedy album. I voted there. I think he's a funny guy. He's wicked funny. He's from Boston, where I'm from. Oh
You
my God.
massholes, stay together.
Yeah, totally.
Excellent. Thank you, Linda Chorney, for coming on According to
And
Amabile.
all the indies. I'm rooting for all the indies. Duh.
Indies.
Duh. Boy, I missed that. I missed that one. You
Now
gave
you
me a
did.
nice softball pitch, and I freaking choked.
Okay, Big Pappy.
I love Big Poppy. He's awesome.
That's right.
Okay, I'm gonna go fart in a mic now. No, leave.
Linda Chorney, According to Amabile. Thank you for watching.